Peace be upon you. Today, let's talk about something that is so important, our own personal direct relationship with the Word of God. We're going to dive into what the Quran says about itself, and I think you'll find it's a message of incredible empowerment.
I'm willing to bet you have. So many of us are raised with this idea that we need a special guide, a scholar, an intermediary, just to even approach God's book. It's like this barrier of fear is intentionally built, making us think we're going to misunderstand everything and go astray if we just open it and read it for ourselves.
And that right there is the most important question. Are we going to listen to the story people tell us, the one about complexity and danger, or are we going to listen to God's own description of his book? Because his description is the only one that really matters. Okay, let's dive into this.
Again and again, the Quran calls itself a Kitabun Mubeen. Now that doesn't just mean a clear book. The root word for Mubin is about clarifying, making things distinct, separating truth from lies. So when you see verses like 27:1 or 12:1, they're not just saying the book is simple to read. They're telling us it's a tool, a device specifically designed to remove confusion from our lives. It's not a riddle, it's the answer key. And this idea gets even more powerful in Surah 5:15, where God calls the book Noor, a light. Just stop and think about that. What does light do? Light doesn't make things complicated. It just reveals what's already there. It pushes back the darkness so you can see the path with your own two eyes. You don't need someone to interpret light for you, do you? It just works.
You know, a really common argument to keep people away from the text is to say, oh, but it doesn't have all the details. Well, God himself completely rejects that idea. In verse 6:114, he literally asks, why would we look for any judge other than him when he's the one who sent down the book Mufassal, which means fully detailed? The message here is that the system is complete. The guidance we need is all right here.
And this gets to the heart of it, right? Okay, so it's clear, it's detailed, but is it actually easy? Is it accessible for you and me, for everyday people? Or is that ease just reserved for the scholars, for the intellectual elite? Is it a promise for everyone?
God answers this question so loudly and clearly, it's just impossible to ignore. In one single chapter of the Quran, he makes a very specific promise. Not once, not twice, 4 times.
This right here, this is the divine guarantee. The Arabic word is Yassarna. It means we have made it easy. This is God himself actively making the path smooth for anyone who sincerely wants to connect and remember. This single promise, repeated 4 times, just shatters that whole myth of complexity. And look, this promise isn't just a nice-sounding theory. It's provable. You can see it work in the text itself. So let's do that. Let's look at how this clarity plays out when it comes to the most fundamental parts of our faith. First up, case study number 1. What does it actually mean to be a righteous person in God's eyes? Is the Quran vague about this? Does it give some philosophical, hard-to-pin-down answer? Not even close. In verse 217, God gives us a clear, actionable checklist. He says, look, it's not about the empty rituals. True righteousness is believing in God and then taking specific actions, giving your wealth to relatives, to orphans, to the needy. This is a perfect example of Mufassal, fully detailed. There is zero ambiguity here. All right, case study number 2. What about the absolute core of it all, the nature of God himself? Is that hidden behind layers of confusing theology that only a specialist can unpack? Again, the answer is a huge no. In just 4 short, powerful, unbelievably simple verses, God defines his own essence. Surah Al-Ikhlas is so clear, a child can memorize it and get it. This is the promise of Yassarna. We made it easy, in action. The single most important truth in all of creation is the most accessible one. So, if we accept these truths from God himself, that his book is a clarifier, that it's fully detailed, and that he made it easy for us, what does that actually mean for its role in our lives? Well, it elevates the Quran from a book we just recite to the ultimate authority we have to live by. The Quran calls itself Al-Furqan, the Criterion. A criterion is the standard you use to judge everything else. It's the ultimate benchmark. This means we don't try to understand the Quran through the filter of what other people say. It's the other way around. We judge everything people say through the clear filter of the Quran. And it's also Muhaimin, a guardian, an overseer, the final authority. A good way to think of it is as the ultimate senior reviewer. It audits everything, all the previous scriptures, and, this is key for us today, all human traditions and religious claims.
It is the final, protected word that acts as the ultimate check and balance for our faith.
So let's just pull it all together really quickly. The Quran tells us it is Mubin, a clarifier that removes our confusion. God promises Yassarna. He has personally made it easy for us to remember. He confirms it is Mufassalan, fully detailed for our complete guidance. And finally, it stands as the Furqan and Muhaimin, our ultimate criterion and final authority.
And with all of this as the foundation, God asks us a direct, piercing question in Surah Muhammad. This isn't just a gentle suggestion to ponder. It's a real challenge. He's asking, what's stopping you? The only barrier, he implies, are the locks we might have allowed to be placed on our own heart.
At the end of the day, the invitation from God is personal, and it's direct. He sent a clear, detailed, and easy guide. He promised to protect it. The path to understanding isn't through gatekeepers. It's through an open heart and a sincere wish to have a dialogue directly with your Creator.
If this message of empowerment connected with you, please like it. And even more, share it with someone you know, someone who might have been made to feel that God's word is too distant or too difficult for them.
And if you want to continue exploring the Quran's clear and direct message with us, please subscribe to God Alone, Quran Alone, and hit that notification bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming explainers.
Peace.